Who want one last trip to the long trail?
I heard whispers and rumors of Claudio's story and his interaction with Xiaoyu in Tekken 8. You guys know Claudio's the person that I talk about a lot. I did so many videos dissecting and analyze his story from Tekken 7 and also what can happen in Tekken 8. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and I'm just going to jump right in. Subscribe to the channel, and also remember you can join the channel in the description. Click the link, become a member. Claudio is the head of the Archers of Posiris, a group of exorcists who's been exorcising monsters since ancient times. Ancient times, that pretty much means Azel. 2,000 years ago, Azel ruled the earth. We know Mokujin was kind of around back then. We know Zafina's clan was around back then, but also Claudio's clan was around back then. When a group is informed by Heihachi Mishima that Jin Kazama and Kazuya Mishima are actually devils, he decides to cooperate with Heihachi, overcoming the opposition with the organization. We saw this play out in Tekken 7. He was forced to do Heihachi's bidding. What I always find so funny about this is Heihachi didn't pick Claudio because he's a sorcerer who can exorcise the devil gene. He picked Claudio because of his resources, his connections. He would be able to tell him where Jin and Kazuya is, and then Heihachi was like, I can do the rest. Imagine if Heihachi showed up with Claudio in that final fight. It would have been totally different, but Heihachi's too cocky, he's too arrogant. He didn't do that. Claudio also learned of the existence of Ling Xiaoyu, who appeared to be searching for Jin, and decided to approach her and use her to defeat Jin. This is referring to the ending when Xiaoyu snuck into the Mishima Zaibatsu. She saw Claudio in the hallway and she was like, hey, you, tell me where Jin Kazama is. They went to the rooftop, they fought, and this is when they started working together. And this was always such a weird thing that people were trying to analyze. Is she a captive? Or are they working together? We had so many questions about this, and I think this is going to provide an answer. Born into a family that controls the Starburst, Claudio is proud of his bloodline, and the devil is his target to be defeated by any means necessary. It's saying here that the Starburst is something that he was born with. His family has this, kind of like how the Mishima family currently has the devil gene. This is a very powerful and important power, but it's also important to note that this is different from the wolf spirit that he's harnessing within that same arm. However, Claudio's credibility was shattered by accident. Heihachi betrayed him and announced the unilateral termination of their cooperative relationship. One after another, people deserted the company to save their own skin, and Claudio sank into the state of frustration and disappointment. This is kind of summarizing the fallout of Tekken 7. And it seems like after Heihachi died, a bunch of people started to leave, because this is the thing, right? The Mishima Zaibatsu was always ran by a Mishima, Jin, Kazuya, or Heihachi. And if Heihachi dies, Jin's going to show up and he's probably going to electric wind God fist you. You don't want to be there for that. So I feel like people are abandoning ship, and Claudio's the only one who's like, he's like, I wish they would come here. He's wanting them to show up. So he's kind of frustrated that his so-called allies are leaving him because strength in numbers. It really seems like no one believes in Claudio. Claudio has the sole ability to exorcise the devil gene, and all he needs is just a few people to help him. But maybe Xiaoyu is that person. In his eyes, Xiaoyu, who continued to believe in Jin no matter what circumstances, was too dazzling. This is the part that I think a lot of people are latching onto. And I haven't read the rest yet, but dazzling. Ashamed of himself, Claudio tells Xiaoyu the truth, apologizes, and vows to cooperate in the search for Jin for her sake. Now, I think this could be misconstrued as Claudio is in love with Xiaoyu and he's kind of giving up everything and like sipping for her. But what I think is really going on here is Claudio had some dark intentions. He was planning to use her as bait, but seeing how gullible, if we take the Pachinko slot machines as some kind of canon, they're all over the place. In Xiaoyu's story, it said they did travel a lot. So she's in cities, she's in jungles, she's in temples, she's in Claudio's actual cathedral. She's going everywhere with the small chance that she can save Jin Kazama. And I think Claudio is just looking at all of this. He's like, man, I can't do this to her. I can't do this. When it says he apologizes and tells the truth, my interpretation of that is that he says he was planning on maybe trying to eliminate him immediately. But seeing how she has faith in Jin, he also is kind of gaining faith in Jin. And that's why he apologizes. I apologize for trying to mislead you solely to kill Jin. But since you have faith in Jin, I will too. And I think that's why he's ashamed of himself, because he was lying. And you see, it says the truth. The truth is kind of important, right? However, if Jin is completely controlled by the devil's blood and betrays Xiaoyu's heart, then with determination, Claudio releases one of the seals on his right arm. It was the forbidden spell of exorcism that his predecessor had forbidden him to use, and the spell would cut the life out of a practitioner. So basically, here's the second part. Now that he apologized to Xiaoyu and he basically came clean about wanting to kill Jin immediately, he is trusting in her and Jin to basically be saved. But he tells her, if we find Jin Kazama and he is completely corrupted by the devil gene, the devil's blood, and then Claudio said, I'm going to use my most deadliest tool in my book to kill him. So I'm going to give him a chance because you seem like you can save him and whatnot. But if he slips up, he's done for. I can see how people can just read this at first glance and think like Claudio's simping for her, Claudio loves her. But when you think about this, when you really analyze, also when you think about what's happening in Tekken 7, the Pachinko, everything, put all those pieces together, and I think that gives us the true understanding of what's actually happening. Thinking Claudio is in love with Xiaoyu, I think that's just surface level. You got to think deeper. What's really happening between these characters besides them just trying to throw in a random love triangle, right?